Hey everybody, this is Michael coming to you from Boca Raton, Florida. Today we're visiting Wildflower Park. This is a park that's on the Intercoastal, right in the heart of Boca Raton, one of the most fabulous cities here in the South Florida. And I just want to share and go over a quick video about the pros and cons of living here. So as you can see around me, it is very, very windy. The weather is not perfect because you know what? Nowhere is actually perfect. So let's get to it. So the first pro of living in Boca Raton is that the schools are amazing. As you may have already seen, if you went on great schools, you went on niche, you would have seen that Boca has some of the best public schools in the entire state of Florida. So no matter where you're living into this actual city, if you're moving anywhere within the city limits, you know already your kids are going to get an amazing education here in Boca. Why? Because all the schools are A-rated. So go take a look. If you are worried about your family, you're like, you know what, I'm moving from a place that has terrible schools. I'm moving from a place that didn't value education. I know where I moved from. They're literally always tearing down schools or closing them because they weren't passing this SCAT or they're not up to standard. You know, it kept closing schools, overcrowding the other schools, and this had tons of 1 out of 10s on grade. If you're worried about your family, you're worried about what type of education you're going to get here in Boca, that's something you don't have to worry about. And when I had 3-year-old, well, she's 2.5 right now, and we started getting letters from the school that she was zoned toward, I looked up on grade schools, it was 1 out of 10. It was an F school, and I mean, no parent wants to send their kids to a bad school district. And that's one thing, if you move here in Boca, you already know the schools are good. They know what they're doing, and I really am proud so far of this city and their school districts and how prideful they are with their education. That's why it's so great here for families. It's because of the schools. I mean, that's number one by far. And that goes into number 2 pro of moving here to Boca. So let's say your kids go to these amazing elementary, middle, and high schools. What do they do then? Well, fortunately, here in Boca, we also have amazing universities for your kids as well. We have FAU, Lynn University. So if your kid goes to these amazing public schools or also private schools, we have amazing private schools here, top A-rated programs for you and your family. They can get into FAU and finish their bachelor's, master's, and their doctorate degree. So they can start all the way from elementary, going all the way to be a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever your heart desires for your little ones. They can do it all here in one city, saves money. They don't have to go too far to seek a great education and great environment. So that's something just to be aware of. The schools here are amazing. Number 3, everything around Boca is very family friendly. You're not going to find any drug dispensaries here. You're not going to find any trashy bars. You're not going to find any strip clubs and hard liquor places because Boca does not allow anything that's not family friendly to be within its city. So everything here is clean, nice, organized, very family friendly. And going into family friendly and clean, the city is always taking care of its outdoors. You're not going to have anywhere that's, full of graffiti or full of trash or debris. Everything around here is very well kept out. Everything around here is very well taken care of, and you could tell the city takes pride in its environment very well here. And the city in general has great infrastructure. Everything around here is well planned. They take great pride. If you're going to notice, you're going around South Florida, a lot of the cities actually have very narrow roads that don't work well for most people, but here in Boca, the roads seem very much wider than anywhere else and a lot more well thought out of. Something you can definitely take notice here as you're looking around the areas. Another great pro if you're looking to move and relocate here to Boca is that you know that your property values are most likely going to continue to increase because the desirability of this area. And talking about the area in general, you're surrounded by multiple international airports. It's very easy, quick to go all the way to Fort Lauderdale Airport, Miami Airport, West Palm, and Boca has its own private airport here as well. And it's very easy to explore and travel the entirety of the entire tropical South Florida area, very much east. So if you had to go work in Miami or worry about the location for your family, you can easily live in Boca and take a 45-minute drive using the express lanes down to Miami. And just a quick pro tip, if you do drive a Tesla like a lot of millennials do, or electrical vehicle, you do get a free express if I got out about that, just email me below. I could definitely walk you through how to set that up just so you can save some money and utilize the express lanes, because they definitely help when you have to take 95. And that's why it was great to have a local agent on your side, knows the area and all the tips and tricks for insurance and inspections. So definitely shoot me a text, shoot me an email, because I got your back when you're moving and relocating down here to our beautiful Boca Raton city. Now, another great pro is different food, audit culture, Italian, Vietnamese, Thai, French, any type of dish you want, you can definitely find it here in Boca very easily. So that's another great plus. Now here's the list of the cons. So number one con here in South Florida, and especially in Boca, are the prices of the actual real estate. As mentioned, your property values are most likely going to keep going up here in Boca because it's so desirable to live here. This area is very clean and very well known internationally, and throughout the entire Northeast, you're going to see a lot of people come in here because this is their playground during winter time. They love this area. They love to take advantage of the great weather. There's no snow, and it's the same draw that drew my family here. So even if I came from, say, North Florida, this area definitely has a lot to be desired. Even with the high home prices, you have to know that this area, you're getting a lot for your money. So you may look at other places. I can definitely help you find other places surrounding Boca. But once you go to these places, you're going to realize what you get for your money is definitely, I personally feel as a person with a family, is definitely worth what you get here in the Boca City area, especially in certain parts of the city. Is something you just have to remember that, yeah, you're going to pay a little bit more than you would, say, in the surrounding areas, but what you get for your money is very hard to beat. An entire package, the entire environment of a clean city with amazing schools has increasingly more desirability for people to actually move and live here. That's why your property value is going to go up. This is why you're paying that high price. So even though it is the first con, it is definitely a benefit. You know, if you buy a house, it's going to be a great investment because there's always people moving down here. And when they want to move to South Florida, they're going to look at great schools and a great clean environment. And Boca is very hard to beat. It's going to be the place where people first think when they're relocating with a family, and you know that your investment is not going to drastically decrease as something happens with the interest rates, scratch the interest rates. And you know that the value of your home is not going to drastically decrease because there's desirability and so limited supply here. Now, going into the second con is that talking about the supply of homes, you're not really going to find that many new construction homes. There's only really one major development right now called Lotus from GL Homes. They're an amazing developer, high quality construction, all the latest hurricane impact windows. And unfortunately, you're not going to have that many options. And most everything around here is developed years and years ago. If you're looking for new construction, this is not going to be the place for most people unless you're in the ultra luxury or multi-million-dollar range. That's pretty much all you're going to get here in Boca for new construction. Another major con here, besides home prices and the lack of new construction, is the actual home insurance. And this is again, is where you need an expert, somebody that's really good at knowing the area that you got for, is have an entire team, people that I work with to come provide the best insurance prices, for you. You really have to know what to look out for. The gauges at the window, how old is that roof, how old is the water heater, and things in that nature is something that is really important to know, because your home insurance, just for definitely go say from where you're living at $1,200 a year all the way to $6, and maybe $10 billion that make a move out of it. It's not a lot in $1,000 a year home insurance. Another major con here living in South Florida in general is flooding. Without knowing the exact area you're due around here, there's a lot of areas that flood with just light rain, and you have to have special flood insurance for this, and that can be very, very expensive. And if you ever went flood damage in your house, it's not something that's easy to fix. Even if you have insurance, you feel like you're taken care of, it's a long process. A lot of water damage into your home does a lot of damage that may not be seen right away. Flood damage can have moisture damage in your sheetrock that can definitely lead towards mold and health issues later. So it's really, really important to make sure you know exactly where you're buying your house and if it's in a flood zone, if it's ever flooded, and things in that nature is really important if you're going to be buying a house here in Boca. Another con here living in Boca is that we don't get the full season. So right now it's going into October. You can go to your Starbucks, you order your pumpkin spice latte. There's, Halloween's coming up, but it's still hot. It is very, very hot. And it feels like summer still. You're not going to get that variation. So if you need variation to go through seasons of your actual life, it's not going to feel the same. Right now in North Florida, you can get 50s and 60 degrees at night, but here it's still in the 80s. It's still hot, it's humid, and you feel like you never left the summer. So if the seasons just hit differently, you don't notice them as much. So that is definitely a con. Now, why most people move here and they feel like the weather is a pro, the weather here can be a con sometimes. So it was just sunny about 15 minutes ago. I went to the gym, worked out, went to go on a run and quickly film a video. And already behind me, we already have, dark clouds, wind. Looks like there's a tropical storm coming, but this is just normal for Florida. You can see the palm trees behind me are, getting affected by the wind. It's definitely windy here, and it's going to be like this probably about 15, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. It's going to be sunny again, but by then I already have to go to work. So just wanted to come out here real quick before it rains. Let's put it that way. Unpredictable weather. You don't know if it's a real tropical storm, hurricane, or just an afternoon in the state of Florida. Another con here living in Florida, talking about hurricanes and thunderstorms, is there's always a threat of hurricanes. And if you're a person who worries, if you watch the Weather Channel and you're worried about the weather in Alaska when you live in Texas, this may not be the state for you, because we're always being told about the next major hurricane. And if you have anxiety about weather, this is not the place for you. You just have to wake up, be disciplined, do what you have to do, and understand that the weather will come, the weather will go. And the only thing you can do is be prepared for anything. So relating back to your home, make sure you have hurricane impact windows, making sure your roof is up to code. Things of that nature can definitely ease your mind as you live here in Florida and relocate. Overall, I definitely say I definitely enjoyed my time here in Boca and the surrounding area. It's just very well centrally located. My daughter loves all the parks, especially Sugar Sand Park. It's amazing. You're not going to see anything really like that throughout the entire state. The schools here are amazing. And if you like to be inspired by successful people, this is another thing, and always be inspired by others here. A lot of people own their businesses, are hardworking, and they're definitely a lot of inspirational people here, and a lot of inspirational people move here. So overall, Boca has its pros and cons. I definitely feel like the pros outweigh the cons, especially if you're moving here with a family and you want a clean environment without any of the riffraff or craziness that can happen in other cities. Boca is definitely the place for that. Your kids will be provided an amazing education, have opportunity to actually continue their education all throughout their entire doctorate program or whatever their heart desire. This is definitely a fun place for families because it's very family oriented here. Yeah, the price can be expensive, but you're getting what you're paying for. There's not that many places like this in South Florida that's very clean, in reach. So that's another thing. There are certain other places in South Florida that are very clean, nice for families, but they're unreachable for most. So if you're a millennial, Gen X, or even a boomer, or certain Gen Z, and you have a subsequent career and you want to provide the best life for you and your family, please consider moving to Boca Raton. It's one of the best cities in the entire state of Florida. I've traveled pretty much all the cities in the state of Florida trying to relocate my family to the best possible area. I have not found a better place than Boca. So please shoot me a text, shoot me an email, and I'd love to help you and your family relocate here to my beautiful city of Boca. Take care.